Welcome to Martial Spirit's Punching Power. For today we're going to go through phase 1. Phase 1 is going to be about hypertrophy and joint integrity. Now with the hypertrophy we're talking about muscular growth. For those that are in a weight-based sport, you don't need to worry about putting on too much muscle because we're not going to be doing this for 6 months or 12 months. It's going to be a 2 to 4 week program. The reason we're doing this for 2 to 4 weeks is depending on the individual and what they need. Now, if you're a casual, you enjoy striking, you enjoy combat sports, or you're just doing it for fitness, you're going to be looking at going towards that 4-week mark. With this, we're going to be working in 3 sets of 10 to 12 reps. The reason for this rep scheme is for hypertrophy. Anything lower than that, you're working towards strength, and anything higher than that, you're working towards endurance. For today, we've got 4 exercises, full body. We're going to be going into a rear foot elevated split squat. We're going to be going into a prone dumbbell row, an elevated weighted push-up, and then also a Pallof Press for core. The equipment that you'll need for this phase is 2 dumbbells, 1 soft matting underneath your knee, and 1 decent strength resistance band. Setting up for the rear foot elevated split squat, you want to make sure that your knee is directly over your ankle. You've got a marker just underneath your knee so that you can make sure that each side is going down the same distance. For myself, normally you would sit up on your non-dominant side. As I've had a knee injury, I set up on the side that was injured. This is going to help to dictate the amount of reps and the pace that the dominant leg can do. Once I've set up my depth and width of the stance, I make sure that my front foot is staying nice and locked into the ground, trying to let the big toe lift off. My back is squeezed so that I'm maintaining the weight of the dumbbells nice and evenly. Core is tight and ensuring that I'm not dipping through my back. Setting up for the prone dumbbell row, you want to make sure that your chest is nice and flat to the ground, keeping a 90-degree angle, knees are slightly bent. Initiating with the shoulder blades first, you want to squeeze back and then row up powerfully, controlling on the way down. Trying to keep the same tempo for the allotted reps and sets. With the prone dumbbell row, we're focusing on stability through the hips and core. The main muscles we're working in the rowing movement are going to be the rhomboids, traps and lats, so the major muscles of the upper back. These muscles help with posture, particularly for people that are in striking movements. Often they'll have overuse injuries and the shoulders will be rounded forward. By doing horizontal rowing, you can prevent any overuse injuries that may occur. Setting up for the push-ups, ensure that your back's nice and flat, tailbone's tucked underneath, glutes and core are squeezed. You want to come down till your chest touches the bench or the ground, powering up through and ensuring that you don't lose integrity or posture through the torso. You want your hands roughly shoulder width apart and ensure that the elbows don't flare out at a 90-degree angle. You want to keep them around 30 degrees away from the side of the rib cage. If you're doing this with a partner, you can add weight onto the back of the individual. Ensuring that you've got a weight that you can make sure you get the set reps for. If you don't have a partner, you can change the angle of the push-up. Here I'm going from an elevated bench position onto a slight elevation off the ground. With the Pallof Press, you're working on anti-rotational movement through the core and also the transverse abdominis. And with this one, you want to keep the tailbone tucked under, nice and balanced, and ensure that you don't shift. The anchor point of the band at the beam is going to be roughly the same height as your belly button. Ensuring the hands stay in a dead line straight from that belly button, you want to push out, locking the core down and bringing it back in. As you press in and out, make sure that the arms don't take over and the core is doing the majority of the work to keep you stable. If the rest of your body's moving and the core needs to stable, it's going to be a far better exercise than what a crunch would be for developing power and also creating stability. When you're moving dynamically through your sport, you want to ensure that the rest of the body can be stabilized. Okay guys, that's phase 1. So we've covered the 4 exercises, we've got 3 sets of each, and we're working within that 10 to 12 rep range. Once again, that's to prep the body, joints, ligaments, tendons, and muscles to get used to a heavier load in future. 2 to 4 weeks, depending on where you're at with your training. From there, what we're going to go through is working towards strength and heavier weight again. With this adaptation, you want to make sure that you increase the weight every week. Now, if you're doing this twice a week, you can look at increasing over that week as well, depending on what your body's capable of. We want to do the 10 to 12 reps, 12 being our maximum rep scheme and 10 being our minimum. If the weight's too heavy, you can only get to 8, you need to adjust it. If the weight's too light, you can do 15, you need to adjust it. So work towards what you're capable of. Stay tuned over the next month as we go through phases 2, 3 and 4. Make sure that you keep up with us doing your programs so that you can keep up with what we've got planned. I promise you at the end of this, you're going to feel stronger, you're going to feel more stable and you're going to be in better shape.